first things first, what we need to do is to follow a structure of email. We have to understand what is an email, how does it look like, or rather, what is a professional email, how does it look like, and how does it sound like. So this will ensure that you are writing emails that are clear in tone and in voice. Kanina may nabanggit, di ba? Yung parang hindi ka sinisigawan. Parang hindi, basta, di ba sabi nga, write respectful emails. Yes, but how do we write respectful emails? If we follow a structure, then it will make our voices clear and respectful, and the tone of our email respectful. And of course, you will be able to communicate the exact message that you want to send to them. Because success, just remember this, everyone, success in email is when your recipient understood what you want, or the message that you want to send, exactly the way you understand it. Kapag nagkapareho kayo ng understanding ng recipient mo ng email, then you will say that, okay, my email has been successful, or the email that I sent is successful. Right? So how do we do this? What is the structure of an effective email? So here's basically the body, or how an email looks like. So we have the to, or the forward, or the CC and the BCC. And then we have the subject line. Then you have the salutation. You'll always have a salutation. Okay? Hindi pwedeng walang salutation. Hindi pwedeng ang bungad kagad is the email itself. Right? And then you have the, ang bungad kagad is the body. In the body, there's also a structure. So you have the introduction. This is the body of the message already. So you have the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. All emails should have a signature. Best if you can actually have a draft of your email first, or the message first, before you send it out. And lastly, what are the time delays? Okay, we have to be sensitive also if there are time delays. Are we sending to OFWs? Of course, if you're sending to OFWs, di ba may time delay yan, or may time difference yan. Okay, if we need to send out something urgent, what time should you expect an OFW to reply to your email if he or she is in Dubai? Okay, so we will talk about the do's and don'ts in this structure. Now, my question to you is, this is for everybody, when should you forward an email? Anyone? You can type your answers, or you can raise your hands, or you can go to the microphone. Kailan ba tayo dapat mag-forward ng email? Anyone from the group? Raise your hand or type your answers. Is Carlo here? Hi, Carlo. Okay, we have a chat response here. Oh, hold on. Okay, this is from Cebu City. Email is intended, sorry. Is this right? Even when Sheila said, we usually forward our emails to the proper Leo or region. All right? That's correct? When else? Kailan ba tayo dapat nagfo-forward ng email? So, Sheila, when Sheila said, when we have, okay, so Buena said, email the same content but forwarded to different people. All right. So we can send out, or we can forward emails when they are relevant also. Is that right, Buena? When they are also relevant to other people that you're forwarding it to. Right? Sige. What about when do you CC? CC is carbon copy. Na-mention to kanina eh. Na-mention ng group ni Kate. Na-mention na, I think also, ng group in training room. So when do we CC? Kailan tayo naglalagay ng pangalan sa CC? Paul has an answer though. He said, CC can be used if it concerns to other recipients. Okay? All right? And then Kate also said, when you want to loop relevant people in your message. All right. Thank you for your answers, Kate and Paul. When do we BCC or when do we use BCC? When do we put people in BCC? Are we familiar with BCC? BCC is blind carbon copy, right? The blind carbon copy meaning when you forward somebody, or when you put somebody in the BCC section, they will not see who are the other recipients of the email. So when do we use BCC? We have some, so it says here, when we are sending impersonal emails, when you send an email to a large number of people, all right? Anyone from the training room would also like to answer for emails that are not important, okay? Thank you for your answers. Tagbilaran, Cebu City, Jerlin. Anyone from the trading room would like to answer? You can just go to the microphone and share your answer with the group, all right? And so these are, aside from two, these are the ones that you'll find in the first part of an email. Diba? This is basically who the recipients of an email will be. Now, there are certain do's and don'ts, or there are certain guidelines that we need to follow when we are, or as to who should receive the email. So here are some do's and don'ts. Okay. For do's, Kate, can you help me read what are the do's when we are forwarding an email? The do's and don'ts when we are forwarding an email. Go ahead, Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hello,
Can you please help
hello,
me
Miss.
read? Yan.
Yes.
Can you please help me read this?
Okay. So the do's are forwarding an email should be performed when the whole content is to be received by the receiver, and things to be included: the original sender, or persons to be included, anyone who was CC'd, dates and times of email, conversation thread. The don'ts: do not forward a message without the knowledge of the original sender.
All right. So the do's here is um is when they need to know about the email. Basically, if they need to learn or to know about the message, then you forward it to them. When you're forwarding an email message, make sure that the original sender is there. Also include anyone who was in the CC. Okay. The dates and time of an email, although this normally appears in your email, right? And the whole conversation thread. Okay, na meron ditong mga questions though. When you are sending it to this part, where it says anyone who was in CC, you can remove people in the CC. Okay, you don't have to forward it to them, but the names of the people who were part of the CC should be still in the email thread. Kasi di ba when you forward an email, it will show you who the sender is, the original sender is, and who were in CC. Why is this important? Why is it important that the names of the persons who are in CC are also included in the forwarded email? Let me clarify ha, hindi natin i-forward ulit sa kanila yung email. Pero yung pangalan nila, their names are still there. Kasi when you forward an email, you have the choice to edit the email. Okay, so do not remove the names that will show kapag nag-forward ka ng email. Why? So that the recipient also knows who have been sent, who have received the email. Because they might resend it again to the people who already received it. Diba? For example, galing siya sa Office of the President. Naka-CC lahat ng managers. And then it was forwarded to your Leo. If the names of the managers were deleted, the people from that specific Leo can forward it again to their manager, thinking na baka hindi pa nila nare-receive yon. All right? So keep the names in the email when you're forwarding it. Also, keep the whole conversation thread. Now, if you're going to change, kasi di ba the conversation thread, usually, the original message, minsan nagkakaroon pa na certain discussion in between. If you are still part of that conversation thread, and if you feel that the person who will receive your email still needs to know about the conversation, isama nyo yon. Wag nyo i-delete sa original message. Right? When should you, or some of you might be asking a question, Maggie, paano kung hindi naman nila kailangan yun? Pwede ba naming i-edit? Pwede ba kaming mag-shorten ng forwarded email? Yes, you can. Now, it's within your discretion if you feel that if you are forwarding the email to another person, if you feel that that person does not need to know about the conversation. If it's not going to be relevant to them, you can delete it and just forward the original message. Please take note, though, that when you are also forwarding messages or when you are editing a forwarded messages, the original sender should know about it unless the original sender really wants you to forward the whole thing. Then you don't need to ask for permission. Okay, halimbawa, may bago kayong ka-teammate. Your manager sent you an email. You want to forward the email to your teammate kasi it's about certain guidelines. Okay? You can ask your manager first. And then let's say nakita mo hindi nakasama sa recipients yung bago mong teammate. You can ask your manager first, sir or ma'am, can I forward the email to our new employee? Okay, if your original sender says go ahead, then go ahead and send it. But if the original sender says no, wag na muna, then don't. Okay, so be careful when you are forwarding emails. Why? Because the person who will receive your email may not understand why he or she is being forwarded that email to. Okay, baka maguluhan lang sila lalo. Your intention is good. It's for their reference. It's for their information. But if the context of the email will confuse them more, then ask first if it's necessary for them to receive it. On the other hand din naman, maybe the manager or maybe the original sender has really limited the number of recipients of that email and does not want the email to be forwarded in the first place. Okay? So just be clear with that. Any questions regarding forwarding emails? Questions, clarifications? We good? Can you see a thumbs up? All right. Thank you so much. Next, to. So basically, to, this is the main recipient of the message. Forward is not the main recipient of the message. Diba? Forwarded nga, pinasa. So to will be the main recipient of the message. Luz, can you help me read the do's and don'ts?
The do's, send a message to the direct audience of the message. Remember that the names you put on the to field are expected to reply to do an action as stated in the email. Remember to put the correct email addresses. The don'ts, put the email addresses of persons who are not the direct audience of the message.
All right. Thank you so much, Luz. So let's discuss this. First and foremost, send the message to the direct audience of the message, right? So if I need to send the email to Nice, I will address the email to Nice. Okay? If I want to send an email to another person, let's say I want to send the email to Hope. Okay, pero hindi naman nakadirect sa kanya yung email. When I say nakadirect, in my body, ang nakalagay, hi Nice, not hi Hope. All right? Then maybe I can put Hope sa CC. If I want her to know about the email that I'm sending Nice, but she's not the original, but she's not the intended or the direct audience of my email. Okay, we'll talk about CC later. But basically, what we're saying here is whoever you put on the to are the people that you directly want to send the message to. And expect also that if your name is also in the to, or if you send an email to the persons that you put in the to box, expect a reply from them. Okay? So dalawa yan. If you're the recipient and nakalagay ka sa 2, you should reply. Like an acknowledgement, or maybe the person is asking a question, you have to answer it. If you are the one sending the email and you put the names on 2, expect that they will be answering your email. Okay? If you don't want them to answer, kung FYI lang to for them, you can either add it to the message, such as no need to reply to this email, or you can put them on a different box. You can put the email recipients in a different box, and we'll talk about that later. Pwedeng sa CC, pwedeng sa BCC. Okay? And then, always remember to put the correct email addresses. My question is this. Do we have similar emails in row 7? Meron ba tayong similar email addresses? Like for example here. So my name is Maggie Agustin, right? I used to work for a company, and my email would be M. Agustin, right? And then a number. So let's say M. Agustin 123. My husband also works for that same company in a different department. His name is Michael. So his email address is M. Agustin and then a different number. So technically, pareho kaming M. Agustin, but our number, our code is different. Right? Meron bang ganun din? No? If you experience that, then you have to make sure that you put the correct email address, that the recipient is correct. And this was mentioned earlier by Paul, by Kate's team, if I remember correctly. No, you have to write the correct email address, because you might be sending an email that is not intended to that person, and the email that you might be sending might be confidential. Okay lang kung for public viewing yung email. Pero paano kung specific to a person lang yon? Okay, I'll give you another example. M. Agustin, Maggie Agustin, and Michael Agustin. Maggie Agustin works for HR. Michael Agustin is in operations. There were a lot of times where my email gets redirected to my husband. Those are HR-related emails, right? And if you know, and I'm pretty sure NICE can relate to this, there are a lot of confidential emails that are being sent to HR, and vice versa also. No? So buti na lang that it's my husband that they're sending the email to. And he knows that it's not for him, so he forwards it to me. But what if that M. Agustin, nakapareho ko ng email, is not my husband? What if it is someone else that I would say na, I'm not familiar with, or I don't know kung pagkakatiwalaan ba, or will understand my role, or will understand that the email is not for him or her. Right? So malaking malaking problema yun if ever. Diba? So make sure that the email addresses are correct. Right? Any questions so far? For twos? All right. If none, not about carbon copy or CC. What is carbon copy? Or who do we put in carbon copy or CC? Flor Delis, are we here? Hi, Flor Delis. Can you help me read the do's and don'ts for CC?
Carbon copy or CC. Send a copy of the email message to people who are not the direct recipients but still need to be kept. Remember that CC recipients are not required to reply to messages. Don'ts: do not get upset when a response is not coming.
All right. Thank you so much, Flor Delis. So, CC, right? So if the people that the email addresses that we put on 2 are the ones that that we are there, or who we are directly sending the email to. CC are, or the names in the CCs, the email addresses in CC are the ones who you feel still need to know about the email message, but they're not the direct recipients. So basically, FYI lang sila for their information, for their reference. That is the reason why you should not expect a response from them. They can or they may or they may not respond, basically. So, which means that if you put an email address under CC, don't expect a response from them. If they respond, it's okay. No? Maybe they find something necessary to respond to from your email, but don't expect it from them. All right? If you are expecting an email or a response from that person, then he or she should not have been in CC. He should have been in where? Sa 2. Okay? Next, we have blind carbon copy or BCC. Can I call James in training room to help me read what are the do's and don'ts in blind carbon copy or BCC? James from training room?
Blind carbon copy or BCC. Those. Remember that no one sees the email address in BCC. Remember, allowed you to send a message to undisclosed. Do not use BCC as a spying device.
Okay, thank you so much, James. So BCC, blind carbon copy, there is a debate or a discussion going on in the corporate world as to when do we use BCC or BCC basically. No, kasi nga it has a tendency to use this inappropriately. But BCC is there. Now, the option of BCC is there for a certain reason. And this is to, one, you can use BCC if you are sending a bulk of email to a number of people, pero you're not expecting a response from them. So maybe like a memo sent out to everybody, and you don't want a response from any of them, or you're not requiring a response from any one of them. You can put them on BCC, right? Sabihin mo, bakit hindi nila sa 2? Because if they wanted to reply to that email and they hit reply all, mangyayari yan, parang yung nasa video. Diba? Parang the response lang is noted, but everybody's noted. Everybody gets to receive the noted message. Right? Kasi in BCC, even if you click reply to all, it will only send to the sender of the email. Okay? Also, remember that it also allows you to send a message to undisclosed recipients. You can even write in your email message that these are sent out to this certain group of people, or this email is sent out to this certain group of people. What you should not use BCC is for spying device. Yung tipong, i-BCC kita ha, kasi gusto kong makita mo kung ano yung magiging, kung ano yung isasend ko sa kanya. Right? So, not only if you can do that only if the intention is good. Like for example, you told your manager na, sir, I will BCC you in my email to this client because so that you can check if tama ba yung ipapadala ko sa kanya na email. Then you can put your manager under BCC. Okay? Or if hindi naman magiging, if it's not going to be an issue to the client, then just put the manager's name to CC. But if it will be but if the client will be questioning why your manager is in CC, then you can put the manager in BCC. What we're basically saying here is just make sure that you're putting people in BCC appropriately and not because you want to use it as a spying tool. Okay?